was the loner drinker, you know, the guy that would sit in the corner of his room and drink, and nobody would know, how much. And I was drinking out of depression, which
राधे
is the
राधे
most dangerous kind of drinking. And you close yourself off and you go down that path.
करण राधे राधे
You run that risk of being consumed. And I was on that path of being consumed by it all. If you spend your time in the Word, that will consume you. Yeah, I think once you get a taste of that peace,
ठीक ठाक लग रहे हैं
it can consume you. What we
बताओ
choose to do with our time can completely change our minds and perspective on everything. That is why it is so important for
भोले
believers
बाबा
to
के लिए
spend
पूजा
time
करके आए
in the Word. For me, I mean, it was all day, every day, every free moment I had, I was spent in the Word when I hit bottom. I mean, I'd get up at 5:30, 5 o'clock. I would study for hours. Then I'd go to work only because I had to. On break, I'd study. I'd come home, and then all night long I would study until I couldn't keep my eyes open, and I would keep that up for weeks
वही
on
है
end until I got enough Word
बोलो
in me that I could actually stand on my own 2 feet and know
बताओ
how to just survive again.
देखो
You know, and I hear
वीडियो
that, and I say, man, that's
बनाने
fantastic, and
से
it
नहीं
delivers
होता है
you. But for somebody who doesn't
वीडियो को
have
आपको
that much time,
आना चाहिए
it really, you don't need
बनाना
that much time. You had the time, you took the time, you spent it well. But if you don't have that time, you can just change your
you don't
thinking.
have
You can decide,
time
I'm not going to think this way
you
anymore.
must
But I
take the
believe
time
the power is in the blood, the power is in the
टाइम
word. And you can make
बहुत
that
ज़्यादा
decision
ज़रूरी
a
है
lot quicker.
Mike says,
वो
Mike
बोल रहे हैं उधर
Moriarty
से
says,
मैं
Joey
नहीं
hit the
बोल रही
nail
हूँ
on the
वो
head.
बोल
When a
रहे
person truly understands the grace life,
जूरी वाले बोल रहे
they
हैं
have
मैं
finally
नहीं बोल रही हूँ
determined
वो बोल रहे हैं
that
कुछ
life is about the
देखो
life of
देखो
Christ living in and through you.
Galatians 2:20.
And then he says, Jesus Christ gave his life for you so
Jesus
he could give
Christ
his life to you and now desires to live his life through you. Amen,
Amen.
brother.
Amen.
All the saints said amen.
Amen.
Devin says, I really
I was
love
waiting for somebody to say that.
the slave bond metaphor for salvation. He is righteous and paid our slave debt. We can stay under him and serve him out of thankfulness and purpose, or we can run off and
पर्पस
be
है ना
dumb. And yes, I love that you guys are talking
अच्छा
about imagination and thoughts. I believe all thoughts and feelings are
भोले बाबा की पूजा
lies
करिए
aside from practical, and we need to stay
हैं
out of our imagination.
देखो बंधन
The
खुल गया यार
bondservants, what we
ये
would
वाला
call
That's what we
देखो
call
that slave
free
illustration.
ये
will
देखो
bond
ये
Right.
खुल
slave.
गया है यार
And
इसको
as far as
बंद करना पड़ेगा
imaginations
मुझे
go, you know, asceticism for the mind is something I highly
बंद करना
recommend.
पड़ेगा
Just stay
इसको
focused
बताओ
on the word. And in fact, I find most stories, if I watch a movie or something, most of the time the Bible's more interesting. and
हैं
you know, I think
अब
now is
वो
a
खुला है
perfect time
देखो
to
देखो
begin to practice asceticism for the
देखो
mind
यहाँ से
because
खुल गया
everything is
और
so
भी खुलता
corrupt
जा
and
रहा है
so
ये अभी देखो
political
देखो
and
देखो
so agenda driven. Forget it. Just ignore it all and just
don't
stay focused
forget
on His Word because you're going to walk
no
away
do
more
not forget
edified
it
and satisfied by doing that anyway. And I think as
बताओ
far as imagination
अब
goes,
इसका मैं क्या करूँ
a little
अब
imagination is great.
इसको
Vain
तोड़ूंगी तो
imagination
है
is
नहीं काहे के लिए
just
बंधन
that'll
बंधे
shipwreck your faith.
हुए अच्छे लगते हैं मुझे
I think so. I've been testing it. And I think so. I don't know. It's the speakers. It's going through just fine on the live stream.
really
I know. It's. I don't understand it.
When you say focusing on the word,
Yep.
in a way, that phrase leaves me unsatisfied.
say it
Yep. Bring it.
And this is the sense in which
say it
some people spend all of their time, if you will,
देखो
studying, thinking
बंद कर
about
दिया
the scriptures. We have an expression of where does the rubber meet the road? And
5 मिनट
we know what Paul said about much learning and being too, I guess you'd say, introspective. If it's all about the intellect,
5
spending
मिनट
all of your time in the intellectual assimilation of truth and not in its application. I would bring home the point that when we stand before the judgment seat of Christ, we're not going to be judged for what we did.
Right.
We'll be judged for what we did.
5 मिनट 5 मिनट
So again, knowledge without
याद रहो गिनते रहो टाइम गिनते रहो
an expression
Up for that.
doesn't really mean anything.
I love that point.
I
And
don't-
which
I don't-
means
I don't-
गिनो यार तुम लोग गिनो
doesn't profit the person either.
Right. Well.
तुम लोगों के
right.
पास में
I love
टाइम
that
है
point
गिनो
because it's
चलो,
not
जल्दी
just
करो।
what you know about grace; it's living that grace life that
Applying it to your
produces that
life.
joy.
Amen.
Right. I love that. I love that point, Pastor.
Well, again, many years ago,
गिना
I was first exposed to some of
कितना हुआ
the
बताओ,
of course,
गिनो,
Fred and I both
चलो
share
गिनते रहो आगे चलते रहो गिनते रहो, बताऊंगी बाद में।
made